we're not going to be drilling, inside the kilometer and a half. Our goal is to be drilling half a kilometer out, a kilometer out, because end of the day, we see a pathway of this project to 3 million ounces, and you're only going to get 3 million ounces by taking home run shots.
Talking gold here with Deepak and Formation Metals. Congrats on acquiring the N2 project in Quebec from Wallbridge Mining. And there is a great legacy already and history on that project.
This has been worked by some really strong companies. So it was discovered in the 80s by Minova, and Cyprus came out with a global resource of almost 900,000 ounces in 1994. And they continued to drill it after. But you got to remember, gold was only $300 in the 90s, right? And so Agnico, who was the last company to drill this back in 2008 when gold was $800, they found a brand new zone, but end of the day, a gram and a half in 2008 wasn't that sexy, right? At $800 an ounce. Now, after that, Wallbridge took over. They started doing some more target generation. But I mean, we're building on Agnico, Wallbridge, and Cyprus's success in the past. And so, this is a project that we see so much upside at gold at $3,000, $3,500, right? Like, saw this morning some cutoffs here at 0.25. So I think this is a project which we're going to be building on some very strong predecessors to really advance our company.
Yeah, and talking about Formation Metal, it is a spin-off from Usha. We're very happy to be part of that journey. And what's the outlook for us Formation Metals holders now in 2025? How much cash have you got in the bank, and how much are you going to drill?
Yeah, so we got 2 million working capital, but I think the thing is we have over $5 million in the money warrants and options that we control, right? I mean, we as in strategic shareholders, management, insiders. When we built this company, our goal was to build a very strong team, well-structured company. We collectively have over 67%, so 2/3 of the company is in strong hands. I think you see that we're willing to escrow our stock. My escrow is 3 years as CEO, and so we're in a very strong cash position. And so our goal this year is to drill 15,000 meters. Right. So the story really here is there's two main zones. There's the A zone, which is a bulk tonnage target that, that's just over a gram and a half, 500,000 ounces, only about a third of the strikes have been drilled. So they've drilled out a kilometer and a half, another 3.5 kilometers to go. I mean, it's a very big open mineralized system, starts almost right at the surface. I think we're at like 10 meters when we start hitting mineralization. And then we have the RJ zone, which is, a kind of combination of both, right? So it's obviously got some bulk tonnage targets, also exciting, but that's where you have some very strong historical hits, right? 55 grams a ton over a meter, 48 over a meter, 30 over 2 meters.
So you have all the historical drill records. They are all available for you?
We have everything. So what we've done so far, we've been working on this, hard for the last 2 months, has really been digging into the data. It's just the fact of the gold price, right? I think that if gold is still at $1,000, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. And so there's been over 50,000 meters drilled on this project across 6 zones. And so we've been hard at work, just going through the old data, getting a really good understanding of what's been done, understanding each of the zones, building out our own targets. And so that's where we get excited now when we're working on the project, because it's cool, right? Like the nice thing is look, when you're doing a grassroots project, obviously the exciting thing is you're making a brand new discovery. It's a different scenario. Here, we're looking to make brand new discoveries in a known asset, and we can do that because of the type of system it is. And it's cool when you're planning out the drilling and you get to say, okay, if I drill here, I'm going to hit 50 meters of X, and here if I here I should hit 30 meters, and that kind of understanding only comes from having had a lot of work done on the project, right? And so our goal is discovery, right? We're going to make discoveries on the project. We have over 12 kilometers of strike still to drill, and because of the the type of system, not to knock newfound gold, but like high grade nuggety gold systems are difficult to work on. This is not what this is. We are what I call a combination of sexy and boring sexy, right? We've got the flashy high grade veins, which we see meter plus widths. But we also have very good, big mineralized structures that are multi-kilometer. We're going to be doing big step outs, right? Like the A zone again, 1.5 kilometers has been drilled. We have another 3.5 kilometers to go, and we're not going to be drilling, inside the 1.5 kilometers. Our goal is to be drilling half a kilometer out, a kilometer out, because end of the day, we see a pathway of this project to 3 million ounces, and you're only going to get 3 million ounces by taking home run shots. And because of the kind of project it is, we're able to de-risk those home run shots. That's what it's going to come down to, right? Like, this is an area that's been actively mined in the past. The Vetsa mine is just stone's throw away. That was operating as recently, I think it was 2022. Care and maintenance right now. That's something we could, the head frame is literally 10 kilometers from our high grade zone, right?
Exciting, Deepak. And by the way, when you're crunching through all those records from the 80s and the 90s, AI, ChatGPT, is that something that makes a difference now in analyzing the data?
So we're starting to use that, right? It's cool because it does take its own interpretation, and I'm a bit of a Luddite, but like fortunately our geos, I'm a geo, but our geos are the ones that are actively working on it, and they're looking at it, and they're 100% using everything we can to try to understand the system better and help build out targets. It's just another, the way I look at it is just another geo looking at it. It's a robot geo. It's been very cool. We've been playing around with that stuff.
Okay, yeah, Deepak, drilling 15,000 meters, definitely a good plan for 2025, 2 million in the bank. So are we going to see any funding later this year for Formation Metals?
That's the beautiful part about this project, right? And the way we've put this company together. So as I said, we have over $5 million of in-the-money warrants that we can exercise whenever we need more money. My goal here is going to be to really, if we're going to do a financing, it's going to come out of a back end of, we'll be supplying the money ourselves to do a back end of a charity flow to just maximize your meterage and minimize your dilution, right? I think that's really kind of what we're trying to endeavor for, and having, between the working cap and the $5 million at our ready, we're in a position where we can very calmly work on the project, work on our company. We don't have to be worried about, okay, I need to move the market to 60 cents so I can get financing done at 40 cents and blah. Like none of that applies here. We have lots of money. We have strong hands supporting us. One of our main shareholders wrote a check for $600,000. Those are the kind of
strong vote of confidence.
Yeah, and those are the kind of people that we're working with on this, right? And so really, I think with that kind of muscle behind the deal, I have zero fears about any financing, anything like that happening.
Strong outlook for 2025. Excited to be a FOMO shareholder here, Deepak, and talk to you soon.
Awesome, man. Always.